Welcome to the GTN show. Well, we're now heading into the end of season excitement ahead of the World Championships, and the 70.3 lineup has just got much hotter with the addition of Olympic champion Flora Duffy. Well, that race is also going to see the first Afghanistan woman racing at a 70.3 Worlds.
Oh yeah, and more imminently we have the PTO US Open this weekend, which has a stacked field along with some more wildcard spots being announced this last week, and the king of track, Michael Johnson, getting involved. That's not all though. We also have some prize winners to announce, plus a new Wahoo Kickr Giveaway.
All right, let's kick things off by taking a look at some of the stuff we spotted over the weekend. And like we said, Flora Duffy is racing at the 70.3 Worlds. And this isn't because she's just gone and won a race on the weekend. No, she's actually been given the slot. And I think if anyone's earned it, she certainly has. I mean, not only is she Olympic champion, but this is a little bit of a rundown she's posted of her trajectory to trying to get to Worlds. So back in 2018, when it was in South Africa, where she spends half a year, she was injured. And then that injury took her through to Nice for the 70.3 Worlds in 2019. She did qualify, for 2020, but the race was cancelled due to COVID. And then her slot was rolled over in 2021, but was too exhausted after the Olympics. I think we were all hoping she was going to make it there. So that was obviously last year. And then this year, she's tried to actually qualify in two different slots. One, her bike didn't make it. Another one, she got COVID. And then just ran out of time, basically. And she's been trying to do racing World Triathlon Series as well as 70.3. And at last, Ironman have seen that. And I think quite a few people were like, hello, can you not give this woman a slot?
We talked about it on the show, like, come on, if there's anyone that's...
So I think it's just brilliant news. And yeah, it'll make the race even more exciting. So yeah, great for Flora.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not only that, it's also been announced that she's going to be racing the PTO US Open in Dallas this weekend, along with a hugely stacked field, as we've mentioned. So stay tuned, because we'll be talking more about that later on. But another race we had this weekend was the Super League Triathlon over in Munich. They've got a bit of a whistle-stop tour going on at the moment, racing each weekend. But what caught my eye was this incredible catch from Vasco Velasha. Some wizardry going on there. I'm not sure what he was, like levitating the bike, then catching it, but it was amazing. Good work. And then, of course, we've got the famous grassy steps in the Munich race, sort of this step down, and of course it was wet. So we had, unfortunately, this little slide from a Bahrain Endurance team member.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably a few more incidents like that just didn't quite make it onto camera. It looked like it was wet, slippy conditions out there. Well, another one that's maybe less funny and looks a little painful, I'm sure some of you guys will share in the grimace. Andrew Starkovich having to pretty much crawl onto the podium after his result of Challenge Almere. Now, someone has said he might have injured his ankle. We don't know. We hope whatever it is, it was nothing serious and it was more a matter of pushing himself to the limit. But that just goes to show what triathlon can do to the body, doesn't it?
He did look in a lot of pain there. Also, we spotted Courtney Dauwalter, the ultra marathon runner, actually doing an ultra with her mum. It's a really cool story. I love this. She said, last year someone asked me if you could run an ultra of anyone in the world, who would you run with? And she immediately responded with, my mum, for sure. And then apparently her mum called up soon after that and said, let's do it. And so there she is, doing a 50-mile race in Minnesota, the same one that she actually finished as her first 100 back in 2012. So, yeah, very well done.
Yeah, that is very cool. And I like the way she's dressing in the style of her daughter
as
well.
Yeah.
It's cool. This final one that caught our eye, some fast running over at the Great North Run over the weekend. And it's Jacob Kiplimo completing the course in a 59.33 to take the win, which is incredible for the Olympic champion.
2:49 per kilometre.
Yeah, for 21 of them. Yeah, that's quite crazy. But the reason it caught our eye was actually Kinase Bekele was back on the podium, clocking a time of 61:01 at 40 years old. I think that's amazing.
Chapeau.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
Okay, now for the Tri News, and five-time Olympian Nicola Spirig marks the end of her triathlon career with a win at the Swiss Tri Series event in Locarno last Sunday. Now, she had actually previously announced that this would be her last racing season, and she'd be marking that with a race in her homeland at this event at 40 years old and a mother of three. So, yeah, she had a good...
She has done a fair amount, hasn't she, in her career? I mean, we've got had to sort of list it here. So, I mean, 5 Olympic Games to start with, and winning Olympic medals, one of them a gold at 2 of those games. She's had 7 European Championship titles, over 20 World Triathlon titles. She's been Swiss Sportsman of the Year. Not a surprise, really, that one, is it? She's also built a foundation with the Kids Cup Series. I think she's a lawyer as well. I just one of those people that you just go, how can you be that incredible at so many things?
It's quite sad. We were talking about this before, to sort of see her go from the sport, because she's someone we've just grown up.
She's just a face
she's
of
there
triathlon
at events, and she pops
and
up
still
on the main
nailing
stage.
it.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
And I guess that is something that, so that's strong that she can say, right, I'm going to finish now at the top. But the fact she is still at the top and mixing up, and she's raced a lot this season. It's not like she's even been dwindling down. So I personally feel like, it's such a shame, but good on her that she's calling it while she's there at the top as well.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
So yeah, well, good luck with your retirement, Nicola. I think she'll be doing some amazing things. We'll see her, won't we, in the sport. On to the PTO now, and they have just announced that Michael Johnson is going to be part of the on-air commentary team, as well as doing some special appearances. Now, apparently, it's his hometown that the race is happening, so in Dallas. It's where he was brought up and the track that he used to train. And he's, when asked about triathlon, he said that triathlon does intrigue me. I remember when it entered the Olympic arena at Sydney, I mean, I presume he means the athletes, in Sydney 2000, when I was competing, it certainly wasn't the sport for me. I could never go for that long, but I remember thinking that these guys must be the ultimate endurance athletes. I'm looking forward to speaking to them and getting under the skin of what motivates them and how they train. So, I mean, it's interesting to see. Hopefully it'll bring some eyes from other sports as well, because he's a pretty big name to get
massive
involved,
name, isn't he?
So,
I mean, he pretty much used to race in a tri-suit as well. His outfit was
he'll get the attire, I guess.
Also, the PTO have announced some more wild cards for the US Open in Dallas this weekend. I won't run through all of them, but some notable names. We've got Josh Amberger, Casper Storners, we've got Mika Nude, who's been incredible this last season or two. On the women's side, we've got Flora Duffy, as we mentioned, Marjolaine Pierre, Grace Theck. But then in terms of ones to watch, just to give you some perspective on kind of the calibre racing here, we've got Alistair Brownlee, Lionel Sanders, Daniel Backergaard, Sam Long, Lucy Charles Barkley, Ashley Gentle, Taylor Knibb. I'm putting a bit of question mark by that because she's been injured, but she has been incredibly impressive on this sort of stage. Paula Finlay and Holly Lawrence. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting.
It is, isn't it? And especially as we're building into the kind of that finale of the season with the 70.3 Worlds and the Ironman Worlds, and some of these athletes will be going on to those. So it's kind of a bit of a test as well to see where everyone's at.
Absolutely.
Very exciting. On to the next bit of tri news. USA Triathlon have teamed up with Hydro. Now, they are basically doing a 3-year pilot study to see whether rowing on an erg or indoor rowing can benefit triathletes. Now, I think they might have been watching some of our videos.
Yeah, I know. It seems remarkably similar, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Well, they are really sort of putting some effort behind this. They're calling it the Hydro Transformation Programme, and they're working with several coaches who have pools of athletes, and they're going to be incorporating rowing into their triathlon training, and they're going to be working with some beginner athletes, some athletes with disabilities, some who are aiming for podium, and also some that are coming back from rehab. And then in 3 years' time, they're going to analyse these results, and we'll see what they say.
Yeah, watch this space. I think it'll be interesting to check back in on that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that the governing body in America are actually investing in that. But
definitely, cool. Well, moving on, and this is a really interesting and exciting story, actually. Zainab Raisi, who is from Afghanistan, is going to be the first female from Afghanistan to compete in the Ironman 70.3 World Championship. She was actually the first Afghan woman to actually compete in any Ironman event back in 2020 at Ironman 70.3 Dubai. But what I didn't realise about this whole story, and I think it's amazing, is she actually started training with the She Can Try organisation in Afghanistan back in 2019. And basically that organisation helps athletes like Zainab with training, equipment, event entries in places like Afghanistan and Kenya, basically places where women may be affected by war or poverty. And apparently that organisation took on 4 women at the time from Afghanistan with a project of trying to get one of them to the Ironman 70.3 World Championships. And they've done that. So she's
awesome.
really making history. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. We'll hopefully wish her luck at that race, but and hopefully we'll see inspiring lots more women from that. It's great stuff. This next one is just an interesting piece. Now, apparently Cliff Bar and their blocks are in a lawsuit at the moment due to some writing or how they're claiming the amount of caffeine that is in a shot block. So you know those little cubes. Well, apparently unless you look at the small print and go under the flap, it reads as though you have 25 to 50 milligrams of caffeine per block, but actually it is per 3 blocks. And this has gone into the lawsuit is happening at the moment, and apparently people who've bought these are able to claim or joining the campaign for this lawsuit to say that they've been sold unfairly because there's not as much caffeine as they thought.
I'm not sure if I'd want 25 to 50 milligrams of caffeine per block. Quite a lot, wouldn't it?
Maybe. Maybe they should say, you should read the small print, but interesting one. Just caught my eye, that one. And now for What the Tech, and Wahoo have some exciting news. They have just released a brand new Kickr bike and a new Kickr. And these only came out yesterday, and we have a Kickr to give away. And I think anyone who has tried any Wahoo indoor training knows that they are just the gold standard when it comes to that. And these upgrades are going to make riding indoors even smoother. So the Kickr and the Kickr bike can now be connected to Wi-Fi or your home network, meaning that updates can happen more quickly and easier. Also, the Kickr bike can be plugged in directly to your router, which will mean for even smoother riding and again all those other benefits.
Yeah, it also has something called Erg Easy RAM, which sounds very fancy. It basically means that it eases you into the required power when you're perhaps doing a workout over the course of 10 seconds. It's particularly useful if, say, you get interrupted during a workout or get off to get a bottle or go to the toilet or something. Rather than suddenly having to jump back on and, say, start riding at 300 watts from the off and ending up in that cycle of death with your cadence, it eases you in over the course of 10 seconds, which is pretty smart.
Simple, but a good idea, isn't it?
Really good. As you said, we have got a Kickr up for grabs. This is kind of perfect timing, isn't it? We're coming to the end of the season, people might be thinking of just doing some indoor training. For that giveaway, follow the link below. The entries will close on the 24th of September, and we'll be announcing the winners in the show that week.
Well, the next piece we spotted from Snapchat, they have updated their augmented reality glasses. So previously they had these glasses which you could use for running. You can obviously have a display, so you're seeing your pace, your distance, etc., like you would see on your watch. Well, now you can actually be in virtual reality and have a training partner that you can see through the glasses doing the workout with you. So you're basically not training alone, which sounds pretty crazy. It's still very much in the beta testing stage, and they're saying these aren't going to come out for maybe 5 to 10 years. So it's very much a teaser at the moment. They are a bit heavier, 134 grams. I'm not sure if they're going to take off, but it's quite a fun thing. And it's just technology going a little extreme, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I think that's brilliant. More in virtual world fun. We have the Zwift 2022-2023 ZRL season kicking off. Now, in case you're not aware of what Zwift ZRL is, it is the Zwift Racing League. Now, these are organised races that you can enter a team into, maybe with a bunch of your mates or your cycling team. And don't worry, it's not quite as scary as it sounds. You can do different categories, A, B, C, D. So you're not necessarily going to be thrown in the deep end with a load of elite riders. But the first round of this series is actually kicking off this week. There's going to be 4 rounds, and within each of those rounds, you've got a number of races. They've got just ordinary points races, just flat out normal cycle races. And there's also team time trials. Quite exciting. I reckon we should get involved.
Yeah, I might have to start riding my bike first, indoors or outdoors.
Yeah, we're probably going to need a bit of manpower, actually, so anyone get involved? Get involved in the comments, let us know. If you want to find out a bit more about the ZRL racing, then you can find the link for that in the description down below. But talking of Zwift, we might see cycling in the metaverse too. In a recent Meta commercial, it actually teases cycling in the metaverse.
It all blows my mind anyway, the whole metaverse thing, as it is. I've just about got my head around Zwift and riding, watching an avatar. That's probably enough for me.
Begs the question, have they beat Zwift to this, or are they pulling Zwift into this? There are kind of subtle sort of teasers of Zwift within this little video, so maybe this is all happening together. It's exciting nonetheless.
It's very exciting, especially with winter coming. It's something to look forward to, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, last but not least, Orca have come in with a very exciting new product. Surf wetsuits.
Oh. Well, it might sound like an odd venture, but I mean, Orca have been market leaders in wetsuits in swimming and triathlon for many years, and they've definitely nailed the flexibility aspect, and it's pretty exciting that they've now gone into the surf aspect. I mean, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love it. These are called the Tango. They're available in 2 different models. So we've got a 3.2 and a 4.3. This is the 4.3, which I think we're going to be using here in the UK a lot. But as you can see, they've got a front zip, as you see on a lot of surf wetsuits, and obviously available in men's and women's sizes. So now we just got to go and do some rad content with this stuff, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Any excuse.
Anyway, moving on, we actually have some winners to announce for our recent Selle Italia saddle giveaway. It's the Watt saddle, you can see in the set behind us, and we've got 3 lucky winners.
Yeah, well done to Ian Dupreez, Josh McPhee, and Joe Massey.
Okay, now on to the race news, and we have got a lot of racing this weekend.
Have.
Some very exciting racing. So starting off over here actually with Ironman Wales, which was a male-only pro race. And it was Joe Skipper that put on quite a performance. He was 5 minutes down after the swim, but that ballooned to over 23 minutes when unfortunately he suffered a mechanical on the bike. And well, with the likes of Boris Stein up there on the bike, it just looked like it would be race over, but oh no. Joe Skipper came back to take the win in an impressive 8 hours and 35 minutes on that course in Wales, which is
fast, isn't it?
Absolutely mind-blowing. Boris Stein took second and Kevin Morrell in third. But a big shout out also to Andrew Horsfall-Turner, who actually led the race for majority, had a big advantage coming out of the swim and very impressive bike performance and slipped back to 5th overall, but yeah. Well played. Good work.
And I also think a bit of a shout out to the age groupers, because I had quite a few friends racing and it just looked like it was really tough. Over in England, the weather was quite nice, but I think they had tough conditions in the swim, really choppy sea, and apparently torrential rain on the bike. So, just well done to everyone who survived.
It wouldn't be Ironman Wales without that, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know the conditions, but probably nicer. We had Ironman Constant as well. And that, in the women's race, was won by Chloe Lane. Second place was Jessica Smith, and third, Melanie McQuaid. And over on the men's side, it was Brent McMahon who won, Cody Beals, fellow countryman from Canada, in second, and then Adam Fay finished in third.
Awesome. Well, we also had the Super League Triathlon event over in Munich that we mentioned earlier on. This time we had the Enduro format, which is 3 triathlons back to back. And when we say back to back, literally back to back with no rest between. So absolutely brutal. Georgia Taylor-Brown put on an absolute masterclass in the women's event, particularly given that it was very wet. Well, yeah, she showed off her bike handling skills on those slippery corners and just pulled clear on that first bike leg and onto the run. She took the win, obviously, taking the full 15 points ahead of Sophie Caldwell in second and Taylor Spivey in third, meaning the overall standings on the women's after the second round is Georgia in first, Taylor Spivey in second, and Sophie Caldwell in third.
Yeah, exciting racing, and exciting on the men's side as well. Matt Hauser, who was just second in London the week before, managed to edge in front and took the win in this format. It was Vasco Falaka who was second, and then Hayden Wild was pushed off the hotspot down into third. So standings have changed a little bit for the overall. Matt Hauser on top with 29 points. Closely followed by Hayden Wild with 28, and a bit of a gap for Johnny Brownlee with 23 points. So, I mean, we're still at the early stages of this with several more races, but very exciting, and it's looking like it's going to be a close series all the way through.
Yeah, and of course they're all part of these teams with their team captains now. So we've got the Scorpions, Sharks and all this sort of stuff. And it is the Scorpions that are leading that at the moment with the full 164 points ahead of the Sharks in second and Cheetahs in third. But it'd be really interesting to see how that comes out after this next weekend. But now we've got Challenge Almere as well, which actually doubles up as the European Triathlon Long Distance Championships. Well, Kieran Linders took the win on the men's side with Anik Hildorn in second and Andrew Starkovitz in third with the limp or whatever he'd done to his ankle, sadly. On the women's side, it was Katrina Wolf that took the win, Lena Christian Schink in second and Jenny Ney in third.
We had more racing, more 70.3. It was 70.3 Santa Cruz. Eric Lagerstrom on top of the podium, and it was Tim O'Donnell in second. Great to see him making it onto the podium again after that heart attack last year. And then Matt Sharp third. The women's race was won by Sarah Crowley. Marinda Carfrey second, so a double podium for the O'Donnell Carfrey family. I think they'll be pretty happy with that. And Pamela Oliveira was third in the women's race.
And we also finally had Ironman 70.3 Sunshine Coast. Well, that was won by Max Newman, Stephen McKenna in second, and Nicholas Free in third. Lottie Wilms took the win on the women's side with Hannah Wells in second and Penny Slater in third.
Wow, it was pretty packed, wasn't it? Ooh. And I don't think it's going to be any different next weekend because we have several more races, including the PTO US Open over in Dallas. And you can catch that on GTN+. It's going to be streamed, and we're excited to watch that race. We've also got Ironman Italy, which is just a women's pro field. We've got 70.3 Dresden, the Malibu Super League, so the excitement continues with that. And we've also got the European Triathlon Multisport Championships in Bilbao.
Whew, it's going to be a big one next week. But now to take a look through all the things that you guys have sent in to us. And don't forget, you can send in your photos, videos using the photo uploader. Link is on screen right now. You can find it in the description just down below. Starting off with this one from Neil, and actually fellow Wiltshireman. This is from Castle Combe Race
Most
Circuit.
people won't know what that means.
Okay, Wiltshire is where we live, the county in England. Anyway, so he says, after his last triathlon of the season, Outlaw Half Bowood, 3 days later, he decided to take part in the Chippenham Triathlon Castle Combe Midweek Duathlon to score points in our club championships. But club members must wear fancy dress to score bonus points.
I love that. That's such a cool. I love a tri club that doesn't take itself too seriously. That's brilliant.
So yeah, good work. I mean, a relatively aero outfit, I'd say. Probably quite hot on the run.
I mean, that could be another idea for something we could experiment with. But anyway, let's not dwell on that one. This next comes from Peter, and it's from the Cairns Ironman in 2022. And he says his eldest daughter, Lucy, didn't really like the GTN How to Spectate an Ironman video. So she decided to make her own as she watched me doing the Cairns full Ironman in June this year.
Well, very good job, Lucy. I particularly liked the part about the Vaseline, and when the Vaseline comes out, look the other way.
Yeah. Good advice.
It was brilliant. No, great job, and thanks for sending that in and going to all that effort. Next up, we have this one from Bernard from Singapore. He said, overcame self-doubt and challenged myself to participate in a triathlon event, a standard Olympic distance tri. You're looking very happy, so congratulations and well done for taking part in that. As I said at the start, don't forget, you can send in your photos and videos. We'd love to celebrate any accomplishments or just any of the weird and wacky things you're up to.
All right, on to Caption Competition, and we had this picture of an athlete running past a unicorn last week. And we had some wonderful suggestions. This first one from Len Whitrock says, you know you're dehydrated when you start seeing unicorns on the course cheering you on.
Similar one, Homer J. Simpson. Ironman run course, mile 22, bonking, heat stroke, unicorns?
Who knows? Well, our winner this week is Nathan Forrest Bingham with this caption: the new Precision Fuel and Hydration Magic Mushroom Flavoured Gels work really well. Well, we like that, Nathan. Well done. Do get in touch and we will get a prize sent out to you. And for your chance to win a prize from GTN this week, we have this photo from the recent Munich Super League with an athlete preparing for the swim.
Or eating their goggles, one or the other. Let us know what you think or the caption in the comment section down below. And that is it for the show this week. We've got some great videos coming up on the channel, including doing an Ironman with no fuel.
Or trying to.
Yeah. You just kind of stay tuned and see how that one went.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to sort of revisit that right now. It's too painful. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Give us a like if so. Remember, you can click on the globe to subscribe, and don't forget to check out the GTN shop for all of our, if we're going into winter, some lovely hoodies on there. I'm definitely digging my hoodie back out again now. And before you go, if you want to take a look at my recent swim run challenge across the Archipelago Islands, you can see that right now.
It is epic.